he said, we'll structure the pay, you know, and I was getting switched babyface anyway. Came in. Americans were all heels in 1970, and because if you were, you know, might be near draft age and weren't in the Army or something, you were probably a draft dodger. So anyway, I started that was the only place I ever worked a heel, by the way. But anyway, so I got the shot broadcasting by accident. You know, I ran the season up there and came back to the States. Went into Nashville for a while, went to Tampa, and then, Danny Miller and I came into the Carolinas, and, Mr. Crockett, I never talked about it, and Lord Littlebrook was in the office, I went in one day, and Brooke said to, this is Jim Crockett Sr., said, Mr. Crockett, why isn't Les on your television? And, Mr. Crockett looked at Littlebrook and said, well, he is on my television. No, he said, as a broadcaster. And Mr. Crockett said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, you know, he did Rudy's TV last year up in the Maritimes and did a heck of a job for him. So Mr. Crockett said, you never mentioned us. Nobody ever asked. So anyway, they started playing around with it, and so that's how that happened, you know. I got in the magazine business the same way. You know, we opened some doors. We did the first full color magazine on the glossy paper. We did the first Wrestling Centerfold. We did the only artist rendered theme covers that I'm aware of, and so I got involved with that just sort of by accident too. But as a trainer, I was minding my own business, you know, training bodybuilders and doing some competitive bodybuilding. And Bob Harmon, the original Beautiful Bobby, who worked in WWF with the Grand Wizard years ago, lives here in Cincinnati, and he called me and he said, this guy has got a wrestling school, and he's got a trainer that doesn't know what he's doing, and he's going to lose all his students if he doesn't get a trainer. And I said, why are you telling me this? And he said, well, you're that guy. I said, you're out of your mind. So anyway, he convinced me to go to, they had a little indie show and it was somewhere on the west side of town. I remember where. And I went and I was horrified. This is my first time to indie. I thought, oh my God, my business gone down in a handbasket, right? But anyway, I saw a guy swing a chair, and I knew the minute he picked it up, he had no business holding it. Never mind hitting somebody with it. You just could tell the way he was holding it. And I had Harmon ask the guy who owned the school and the promotion, how long has this guy been working? Oh, he's been to 4 practices. Oh, and he said, wow. First of all, he's got no business being on a show. Second of all, he shouldn't even, never mind, except for sitting in a chair, he shouldn't even be, you know, have anything to do with the damn chair. So anyway, that convinced me, okay, I'm going to try this once. And, so that's how the whole thing started. And then the promoter was bending me over, and plus he turned in to be a con. So anyway, that's kind of how the HWA was the offspring of that. I'll tell you something else we did for the first time too. Jerry Briscoe, I was telling his son Wes in Charlotte this year, we had the first ever wrestling t-shirt company. Jerry and Jack and Thunderbolt Patterson and myself. Yeah, we called it Brutes and Associates. We did Briscoe boosters, t-shirt, everything was white t-shirts and black ink back then, and right. TP Power for Thunderbolt Patterson Power. And, Jerry Lawler was just getting his career off the ground as a wrestler. And we knew he could, and he did the pen and ink, drawings for me for $25 a piece. Wow. I wish I had them now. I could probably sell them for $500.
You know that.
Right. But, a lot of this stuff just, I didn't know if I'd like being a trainer. I didn't know if I could be a trainer, but, I love it. I do. And, it can be frustrating at times, but, it's rewarding too.
Now,
when I see how well Drew's hair is growing.
He looks good, man. He looks good. Hey, Drew, yeah. Les sent me an email one time. He said, have you got skinny legs or something? I said, no, I got pretty big beefy legs. He goes, well, why are you wearing those leggings that hang down to your knee? Get your singlet cut right.
What can I tell you?
Hey.
Now tell me the truth. Have you ever seen a match that you thought couldn't be better?
Nope.
Nope.
Also, Les, I've never seen a 5-star match because I believe they exist at the end of the rainbow with unicorns, Bigfoot, and leprechauns.
Yeah, I don't score matches by points or anything. And again, if you're working at a different town every night, the same match, will play one place, won't play another anyway. So it depends, who sees what you're doing. That's again a good example. The tag match where Triple H blew the quad out a few years ago.
Right.
I was watching and I thought, boy, what a hell of a match. I called Benoit's cell and left him a message, telling him, boy, you guys really kicked butt tonight. Give me a call. So a couple of days later, he calls me and we're talking about, just life in general. And then I got around to saying, man, that tag match on Monday night, and he said, yes, but, and told me how it could have been better.
There you go. Listen, if I watch myself less, I have to watch myself out of the side of my eyes because I can't stand watching myself. Because even if I have what other guys said, that was a really good match, Q. I look at it, I think it's terrible. I could do 100 things different. I could have done that better. I could have walked to the ring better. I can't do it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, again, when I started in the business, Santos, the guy I worked for, had no television. Everything was newspapers and posters and radio and for him. So I never got to see myself on television till almost, I broke in July of 60. I think the first time I saw myself on television was, March or April of, 62. And that's, I taped, I did Cincinnati, TV and I was able to come home and watch it when it played back. I was horrified. Jesus, do I look that bad? I just, stuff that you do that you can't, that's the thing too. When I see guys being so technically lax, that they don't pay attention to how to properly apply a hold or to, to make it look like it's a shoot in some manner. And I don't mean just, stiffen each other.
Right.
That's what's lacking. It's those little nuances that make everything work. It's not 19 super kicks and 15 dives through the friggin' ropes. And if you, Q, when I ask kids this, when I point this out to kids, they just kind of look at me. But I said, go back over the last go back 15 years and show me how many gimmicks have worked the main event of WrestleMania outside of The Undertaker.
Right.
And the answer will be none. They all have a first and last name, or at least 3 initials anyway. But I mean, the point is, everybody sets out to have some off the wall gimmick and the look off the wall, and none of that's worth a damn if you can't work.
No, you look at guys in the UFC, and not one of those guys has a crazy gimmick. But you know what? I mean, we've lost a lot of our fans to MMA because we lost the realism because guys started getting sloppy, in my opinion. They just got sloppy. And they weren't selling. And if you don't sell, you're not going to get any heat. You're not going to get people involved. And if you don't sell when you get hit, if you get punched in the face, you don't fall backwards. I don't mean take a bump. I mean fall on your ass back to a corner and sell that punch like the guy knocked your teeth out in a bar fight. Who's going to believe it if you get hit 3 times in the face and you come back at the guy 4 seconds later like you never got punched?
Well, or better yet, once I knock you down, I turn my back and walk away from you and wave at the audience. I keep saying, where were these guys when I had to fight my way up?
I know, right?
Please put me in the ring with you. Let me be young again. You need to mimic something that's real, and most of the stuff we mimic is, I don't know what they're smoking, but I haven't got any of it.
Yeah, me either. I wish I did sometimes. It's funny. I had a conversation with 2 guys a few weeks ago at a show, And I told him, I said, listen, come here. I said, you're a babyface. Don't turn your back on a heel, ever. And if you're a heel and he turns his back, go get him. Hit him from behind. Clobber the piss out of him. Don't ever let him turn his back to you and you stand there looking like an idiot.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest insult you can give your opponent. It's like saying this guy isn't worth a damn. And so I can turn my back. And I've said to kids, I said, listen, let me tell you something. If I'd have turned my back on Harley years ago, I know what had been waiting for me when I turned back around and I seen this big left hand coming.
Right in the mush.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love, well, most of these aren't tag matches. Most of them are two singles disguised as a tag match because they don't know how to work tags, but
they really don't.
I love watching it when the guy sells for 5 minutes and makes his own comeback.
Right. I know. Yeah, I know, right? He's Superman. Why wouldn't he?
That back in the day, that would have got somebody short. They just said, hey, I'm not tag. You don't need me. Screw you, man. You just made your own comeback.
It's funny, but Jimmy Cicero, I tagged with him for years, and 20 years ago, we got to work a lot with the Bushwhackers. And man, those guys teach you more about tag team wrestling in 3 matches than you'll learn in 30 years out there wrestling singles matches. It's a whole different match. People don't get that anymore. And, trainers don't know how to teach that it's a different match either. The psychologists are completely different.
Yeah. You remind me, earlier you were talking about, short matches and you can't learn. The guys, my kids, when they go out the first time, usually 12 minutes at least.
Right.
When I mentioned to somebody, when I first started HWA, we did a 2 hour and 15-minute show, give or take a minute here or there, with 5 matches. And some guys look at me like I'm nuts. You can't do that.
That's perfect.
I said, if you know how to work, you can do that.
Sure. And here's the thing is, the people, you're letting the people leave wanting more. You're not giving them too much. So they don't care if they miss next month. If you feed them just enough, and I always call it, and I know you've seen me write that before, who shot JR moment at the end of the night, so that people are hanging on this cliffhanger. They gotta come back. They gotta see it. But all that stuff has to be in order. And at any given night on an independent show, there's no who shot JR moment. There's no reason to come back next month. I can come back in 3 months and see the same thing I saw tonight. I'm not gonna miss anything. And that's
no, you're not. You're absolutely not. Yeah, it's and that's the problem too. This is supposedly a business of individuals. But when you see the first match look like the second match, which looks like the third match.
Oh, I know.
The standard, we start with an armbar, and now you hold my wrist, and then I'll roll through, then I'll kip up, then I'll reverse it on you. Gosh. I've seen this movie.
I know.
And it didn't win and it won no Academy Awards.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, guys don't get it, man. You gotta be original out there and you gotta do different things. And, everybody looks the same. They got the same haircut and the same tattoos. I'm like, really? Where's the business of 25 or 30 or 40 years ago, whether it's this diverse group of people that no matter how big or how small still appeared to be threatening. So
yeah.
What do we know? We're old. What do we know, Les? I got told I had the Santa Claus syndrome a couple months ago. What the hell does that mean? I'm bringing you presents? Here's a present for you, kid. Come tell it to my face.
Yeah.
Too old.
Well, it's what the guy went up for the camp up in New England a couple weeks ago. He told me, he said, some guy said, what, when he said, are you coming to the seminar? And he said, well, what can he teach me?
Oh my God.
I 2 or 3 things. I can make you taller. Let me show you the sugar.
That's right. Oh my God. Oh.
But that's the other thing too. It's, I think if Babe Ruth came out of the grave, the guys who are the best home run hitters today, Pujols, guys like that, would go to a seminar if he were having one.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they want to be better. But when you've already had 6 matches, all of them that lasted at least 5 minutes each, and you've got Ric Flair's autograph, and you've seen 2 Japanese internet specials, you are a professional wrestler. I mean, you
sure,
don't need.
Don't forget you mail ordered your boots and your gimmick from High Spots.
Right, exactly.
You remember how it was last year?
If I didn't laugh about it, I'd cry.
I know, me really. Too. Do you remember back in the day when the only place you could get your boots was from old Noel out there in Texas or Arkansas, wherever he was from?
Well, I'll tell you, Clifford Macias. I've got 2 pairs of boots that I had custom made in 1968, and with inlaid initials. The tongue is sewn up one side so it can't walk. The eyelets are covered in leather so they can't pop out.
Nice.
The initials are cut through the boot and then lined from the back.
Are you wearing them right now?
No.
Are you wearing them right now?
Yeah, I sleep in them, man. I paid the absorbent price of $45 a pair for those.
A lot of money back then, brother.
Yeah, that guy's still making boots. The reason I say that, a couple years ago in Spindale, North Carolina, I was talking to David Flair, and he was on his show. And I said, "Are those your old man's boots?" And he said, "No, but a guy who made Dad's boots made these." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What was it?" And he said, "Clifford." I said, "Oh my God." It's the same guy that made our boots in 60. Of course, I never met the guy. Bull Ramos measured me and sent the guy. You know, that's the thing I see. It drives me nuts too. Guys wearing boots that you can put your fist down between their calf and the damn, inside the boot. I mean, I said, these are for support.
Right. Well, we used to have to trace our foot and send the measurement of your ankle and your calf at like 12 inches and your calf at 17. But, the other guy, Noel, that sold them, he wouldn't sell me boots until I told him who trained me, and he called them. He wouldn't sell me boots. K&H out in Ohio used to do that. When I first got into business, if you called them to get something made, they'd like, who trained you?
Carl and Hildegard up in Columbus, Ohio. That was the only place to get K&H, yes. Mm-hmm. And they had your stuff on file. Like I liked the legs on my trunks cut a little higher.
Right.
And like Bobby Shane and I were the only 2 that had the patchwork. But I mean, you could call an order in and tell them what you wanted, and they kept the patterns and they'd ship them right out.
Yeah, they were great. I got all my gear from those guys back in the first probably 15 years I was in the business.
Yeah.
They made everything, and they were good and they were pretty quick.
Now you got guys getting gear first.
I know, right?
Now there's as many gear makers now as there are promotions, aren't there?
Oh my God, it's crazy. I get a friend request from all these gear and belt makers. There isn't just Reg Parks anymore or even Jamar. Everybody makes belts.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I heard that.
Well, listen, you're listening to the Undisputed Wrestling Show at AngryMarks.com. We're talking with our buddy Les Thatcher here, and it's about time to wind it up. Les, you want to throw out any of your stuff coming up that you want to put over here?
If you don't mind, a few shameless plugs. And when do I get to come to Cue Ball Heaven?
I'm gonna call you after the Buddy Landau Cup on November 14th, and we're gonna set up a date for next year.
You heard that, Drew. You've heard this before, right? Promoters say, "I'm gonna call you." Okay, I'll wait.
We'll call you. We're at lunch together. He'll give you a call.
Yeah, don't call me. I'll call you. Right? Anyway. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, October 23, 24, 25, I'm in Paulsboro, New Jersey at the Monster Factory. We're doing a Q&A on Friday night, training all day Saturday, show Saturday night, and training Sunday. And if you want to come in and join us, if you're from out of town, you get in touch with Danny, the boss, and he'll set it up for you to stay at the facility. You can get more information at monsterfactory.org or call Danny at 609-471-7904. And then Saturday, November the 7th, I'm at Central All-Star Wrestling in Rockwood, Tennessee.
Oh,
National
nice.
Guard Armory. We're just doing a 2-hour Q&A, 3:30 to 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. And then I'm doing some color commentary. but more importantly, they're giving an award to an old friend of mine, NWA referee Mac McMurray. So I'm going to present that award as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then of course I'm doing 3. I just came from training tonight, Tuesday, Thursday, beginning at 6 p.m., Saturday mornings at 10 at the Christian Wrestling Association in Hamilton, Ohio. And you can get in touch with me, Les at epwt.com or Les Thatcher at zoomtown.com. And, that's it, guys, I guess. Hey, you mean, have we gone an hour already? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit over. Yeah, you know what? And I know you've been with Danny Cage before, and he's a buddy of mine, but that kid is a smart businessman, and he's got it going on up there at the Monster Factory.
Yeah. I was up there last year, and then he and I hung out a little bit in Charlotte. I love Danny to death. He's good people. Got a hell of a crew of guys, too.
Yes, he does.
When he mentioned going to bad, taking his shooters and going to bad promotions, I thought, can I go too?
I know, right? That's what I told him. I said, dude, I'm in.
I want to go watch. I'm too old to
Yeah, that's what I said. I can drive the car and watch.
Yeah. Huck was asking how we improved the breed. There's one way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Drew?
Yes, sir.
Drew? Okay,
yes,
there
sir.
you are. You haven't said much.
No, I've been,
Sorry.
like I said, I've been lucky enough to spend so much time with you, Les, and I want these guys to be able to talk to you and get a chance to ask you the questions that they wanted to ask you. I know you spent some time talking to Q as well.
What he's saying, Q, between the lines is, I've spent too much time with you, old man.
I know.
No way, not at all. I love you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on.
Listen, I love you too, my friend, and you guys stay in touch, and I'm looking forward to getting together with you, Q, next year for something anyway.
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely. Take care,
Drew, I've lost a lot of weight waiting on you to buy lunch to get your ass over here.
Hey, I'm coming. I'm coming.
All right, guys. God bless you both. Take care now.
Thanks, Les.
Thank you, Les.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you're listening to the Undisputed Wrestling Show at AngryMarks.com. We just finished up with Cody Hawk's first hour and the legend, Les Thatcher, the second hour. What a couple of great guys to have on the show tonight. And, I apologize, guys. I get talking to Les, and last time we talked on the phone, we talked for 3 hours, and, I get talking to Les, and I just kind of get in a zone where I just, nothing else exists. And so I do apologize that I didn't give you more opportunity to talk to him. And, next week I'm going to let you guys do most of the show while I just listen to you. It'll be agonizing, but I'm willing to do it.
Like I said, it's no problem on my end. I